Hi friends, welcome to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee, and today I wanted to go over my seed starting setup, and we also have some seeds to start today. I was really hesitant to make this video because, well, to be honest with you, my seed starting setup is just okay. It's not super professional. I don't have the top of the line stuff. And then I kind of thought to myself, that's the point. This is my second year gardening, this is my second year homesteading, and my setup is actually, I think, pretty nice for being a new gardener. It works really well for me. I'm able to get a lot of seeds started indoors while it's still got snow outside on the ground, and I really like my setup. So I figure I'm going to come and show you what I have going on, and maybe you can replicate it if you're a new gardener, and hopefully it'll work just as well for you as it's been working for me. Someday I do see myself having a bigger setup, maybe a little nicer of a setup, just in terms of the equipment that I get, the space that I have, the amount of pieces of equipment that I have, and things like that. But for now, it's working really well for me. So for starters, I have this rack. I started with a different rack originally that came with the house, didn't like it at all. I love that the shelving is open, like I can stick my fingers through. It's not one solid piece, and I really like that because that's what I hang my lights off of. The first one, these were solid shelves, and I had to, well, Tom drilled holes in, and I was trying to stick my lights through that way, and it worked, but it wasn't great. And so I really like that I'm able to hang my lights. So I got this from Target. I don't know if they still sell it. I got it a couple years ago, 2 years ago. But I'll see if I can find it, and I'm going to link everything down in the description. And if I can't find exactly what I have, I will tell you if the link is exactly the same or if it's slightly different, but I'll try to find something very, very similar. But this is a 5-tiered wire rack from Target, and it works really well. And so far, I've only used, I just used this portion and this portion last year. This year I'm going to include this one and maybe the very bottom one if I have to. I still have a lot of seeds to start, so we may. I've never put anything up here because I'm very short and it's just not, I don't think you can even see it. There's another, the top of it, actually I want to show you. Let's see. That's the top of it up there. I've never put anything up there before because I'm short and I cannot reasonably reach it, but I could if I needed to. So if I end up using this very bottom shelf, which you can just barely see, I will put everything that's down here up there. And all I have down here are bags of soil, a bag of perlite, some different containers and supplies and things like that. So if I end up wanting to hang grow lights down here and grow things, I'll put all of that stuff up on the top. But for now, it's down here. This shelf is empty, it just has a couple of things on it. I'm definitely going to be using this shelf for seeds, 100%. I definitely have to. I'm already full, and I still have 2 more big seed starting days ahead of me. Here I have 8 grow lights between these 2. I have 4 up here and 4 down here. Kind of hard to tell, but I've got 2 and 2 on each side. These are 2-foot grow lights, so I've got 4 feet going across, and I've just got them next to each other. Same thing down here. They're not all the same lights, but they're all very similar in design and how they work. And I like it because if you put them next to each other like this, you can plug one into the other. And I have all 4 of these on one circuit plugged in like that, so that I don't have to have 8 different outlets to plug them into. There's no way, that wouldn't work. I don't have all these on one circuit because these 4 are different than these 4, and these did not quite work that same way, but these ones do. So I have these all together, and these are on 2 separate circuits. Yeah, and so I'm able to go pretty deep. This shelving unit is 1.5 feet, 18 inches maybe deep. So I can't comfortably fit 2 of my seed starting trays deep. But when it gets to be the end of, like when it starts to be nice enough to start planting things outside, I do. I did last year anyway. I had them shoved right next to each other, and they were hanging off the sides a little bit, but everything by that point was well established enough that being a little bit farther away from the light, nothing died. It was all fine. So that will end up happening. These 2 here I planted just for fun. These are a dwarf tomato, and this is my chamomile back here. I'm planning on taking those outside eventually, but they are taking up quite a bit of space, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. I'm hoping to get at least into the 50s soon. We're still in the 30s, sometimes 40s. I'm hoping in the next 3 weeks, we'll see a turnover and we'll start being 40s, 50s instead of 30s, 40s. And then I will feel more comfortable taking these out of here, putting them at least in a window and maybe taking them outside during the day some. We'll see about that. But that's it, guys. That's my seed starting setup. Really simple. I don't have any heat mats. I hear people talk about, you know, if you're going to have to choose between lights or heat mats, lights, 100%. Heat mats are not a requirement. I've never, ever started anything that had to have a heat mat. I've never had anything not germinate because I didn't have a heat mat. Are they nice? Yeah. Will they make some things like peppers and tomatoes germinate faster? Yeah. But to me, I don't care. I'm starting, all I do is add a couple days on to the time that I need to start them indoors to make up for the slow germination. They still germinate. So eventually I'm sure I will invest in a heat mat when I am doing this larger scale and I have more space and I want to do, right now I'm doing like 30 tomato plants. In the future when I'm doing 130 tomato plants, yeah, I'll probably want to get a heat mat, but just starting out, not necessary. The lights, these ones were a little cheaper. I think these were $30 a piece or maybe $40 a piece. These were, I just bought these were $68 a piece. So a little more expensive. However, if this is your first year gardening and you're on a budget and you're not wanting to spend a lot of money, just start with 2, you know? Put a couple dollars aside from each paycheck, just get 2, and you're still gonna be able to start a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I could get away with just having 1 on this tray. I don't need 2 on this tray. So, you know, you'd be able to start, these are 72 cell trays, you'd be able to start 2 72 cell trays easy, getting 2 lights. So that's a lot of plants if it's your first time gardening. So definitely recommend getting lights, and then obviously you need something to put them on, but you don't need to buy a shelving unit like I did. I only did because I knew I was going to be starting a lot of seeds, and I wanted to. This was not expensive. I think this was $110, and this is a really nice shelving unit. Really nice. You don't have to get as nice as I got. So all in all, if you consider the lights, so if you're doing the nice lights, it's $120. If you get like just a normal wire rack from Walmart, I'm going to say $60, so you're looking at $180 with stuff that you're going to have a very long time. I've had this stuff already for a couple of years. It operates wonderfully for me. I've not had a single issue with any of it, and that's what's so great about this is that you're going to have these items a long time. So that's useful. Now, where it starts to get a little janky, because so far everything I've told you is like pretty nice, it's my trays are real cheap. I got these trays, I think, from the dollar store. And guess what? I'm going to use them until I can't use them anymore. No shame in my game. I want like the really nice, real stable quality seed starting trays from like Bootstrap Farmer or something like that? Yeah, for sure I do. I love all the pretty colors. I love watching other YouTubers with them. That's great. But I'm not going to spend the money on those until these cannot serve me any longer. I did not have the extra money for that. I couldn't get heat mats and I couldn't get fancy like trays and stuff that last year, that first year, because I was buying the wood to build my garden beds, I was buying soil, I was buying mulch. I was brand new trying to get all this infrastructure put together. And this year, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm on a really strict budget this year, 2023. And I'm not willing to do it. Why? I have nice trays. I got these, I think I got these plus the, let me show you. Oops! I dropped one and scared the chicks. Whoopsie. So they're kind of falling over now because I've cut them. Sometimes I like to be able to take the individual trays like this, the 6-cell tray. I like to be able to like move it around, and once things start to become different heights and stuff, I'll put similarly things with similar heights together in trays. But it came, when I bought it, they came as one flat, like this. And I, over the year, kind of cut them and made them separate. But it started out like this, inside of a solid bottomed tray. I don't like trays that have holes in them because I like to bottom water my seedlings. So I got the tray plus the inserts for $5 at Dollar General last year. I don't know if they still have them, but I'm sure I'll be able to find something similar for you. The problem is they're real flimsy. So this up here, I tried to take, we had a really nice random day. It was like in the 60s a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to take everything outside to just give it an hour in the sun. And I tried this, everything in here is really established. Like, I've got like a super established basil plant that I started from seed. And so everything's real heavy. I tried to take it off the shelf, and it crumbled and everything fell on the floor. This was before I had the chicks. And I was like, oh. So I had to spend 45 minutes like scooping everything back into their cups, and everything pulled through, nothing died. But it was really sad. So like, there are some cons to having real cheap stuff, but like I said, I already have it. It's what I could afford at the time, and I'm gonna use it until I can't use it anymore. And then I'll invest in the really nice, you know, quality stuff. But to me, I'd rather have real nice lights and cheap trays than vice versa, because the lights are so necessary to create successful starters, so necessary. So the only other thing that there really is to talk about in terms of like my seed starting setup is like soil. I've gotten different soil every time I've done it. I've had so many different types of soil because I'm new and I'm trying it out and I'm trying to figure out what soil I like and things like that. So I got this from my local gardening center the other day. It's Espoma, and it's an organic seed starter mix. And I have seen lots of other people recommend not using a seed starting mix. The reason is a seed starting mix is real light and fluffy. When you have a seed that you're trying to start, it has only so much energy within it to come to the surface of the soil and reach the light. And if you have a soil that is too hard and compact, it won't have the energy to push through the top and get to the light. And like I said, seed starting mix is very light, very fluffy. So it's ideal for starting seeds, but it's very, very low in nutrients. The seed starting mix's job is to get that seed to sprout, to start. And from there, once it starts to establish a root system and really set off leaves and stuff, it needs more nutrients. So I'm stuck having to kind of supplement these until it's time to up pot them, in which case I will then up pot them into a potting mix, which is more nutritious and I don't really have to worry about it from there. But like for right now, I've got this tray here. All of this stuff could stand to be put into up potted. This tray's doing really well. These tomatoes especially could definitely be up potted. I don't have a potting mix right now, so they're gonna have to stay in here until I have everything I need to put them in bigger pots. And one of those things will be a nice potting soil instead of a seed starting mix. I would not want to take sprouts like this and up pot them and use seed starting mix to fill its new pot, because there's no nutrition. It doesn't need that. So a lot of people recommend, and last year I did do this, a lot of people recommend doing a mix, getting a little bit of seed starting mix, getting a little bit of potting soil, mixing them together, adding in a little perlite or vermiculite, which is this right here. It just improves the aeration of the soil so it doesn't get so compact. And you have a really great seed starting mix. I did that last year. I went to the garden center fully expecting to do the same thing this year and could not find a potting soil anywhere. So lots of seed starting mixes, that's what's out right now. That's what I'm gonna use. And hopefully by the time I'm ready to do some up potting, I will be able to find potting mix. So that's my word on that. I don't have a great like recommendation, like, yeah, use this soil, use this potting mix, use this seed starting mix, because I'm still figuring it out myself. So my recommendation is to just go out and see what you can find. If all your local store has is like a Miracle-Gro potting mix or seed starting mix, go for it. You know, it's fine. Whatever you need to do to get your sprouts, to get your seeds to sprout, that's what you need to do. It just so happened that mine did have an organic option. I'm always going to choose organic if the option is there, but if they hadn't, I still needed to start my seeds. And so, you know, I would have gotten whatever they had. So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so stringent and I have to have this. Just go with it. It'll make the whole experience a lot more enjoyable and a lot less stressful. So I think, and then I was just going to say that I just have, this is I think I had gotten one of those, I got this at my local store, and it was just one of those cute house plants that I totally killed. But this is a solid bottom. It doesn't have holes in it. And I've been using this to mix my soil in, because as you're about to see, because we're going to start some seeds together right now, you want to put your soil. I've been mixing my seed starting mix and my perlite together, this stuff with my seed starting mix, in this bucket, and then I add quite a bit of water because you want your seed starting mix when you're actually actively using it, to be wet, because that way the seeds that you put in there will have immediate access to water. You don't have to try and worry about watering them, and they'll sprout faster. But you need to do that in something, and so I've seen so many different items that people have used. If I were doing this in a greenhouse, or if I were doing this outside, I have a big wheelbarrow that I would probably use, but in here in my homesteading room I just use this bucket, and it works really, really well for me. So I think that's it in terms of like my seed starting setup and supplies. I can't think of anything else, just that I just have a spiced rum bottle. I used the last of my spiced rum to make some more homemade vanilla, so I had this bottle available. It could just as easily be a milk jug or an orange juice jug or something. And I just go to the sink and I fill this up with water, and this is what I use to water my plants. Like I said, I bottom water, so I'll just take one of these out, and then I pour the water in, and I kind of, move it around to make sure it is dispersed throughout, and then I put it back, and that's how I bottom water. Easy peasy. So far, with the amount of plants that I have, I just have to fill this up twice. One for these and one for these, and it's been working really well for me. So let's start some seeds. All right, you guys. First, I'm going to tell you quickly what it is we're starting today, because I don't even really know. All right, I've got cosmos. I've got poppies. I have so many poppies this year. I already started one of them just for funsies. So I've got these plus another. So I have 5 different kinds of poppies that I'm starting. I love poppies. I've got my my seed dahlias, my calendula. Can't wait to have more of this for tea. I've got 2 different kinds of alyssum. I've got all of my zinnias, asters, this is new, my M.I. Gardner straw flower, as well as all 3 of my M.I. Gardner carnations. Very exciting. Russian tarragon, which I've never grown. Summer savory, which I've never grown. Lemon balm. St. John's wort, I was planning on growing, but maybe I'll still start it. I had somebody tell me, I don't remember who, I had somebody tell me that St. John's wort is contraindicated if you are on anxiety or depression medication. Contraindicated meaning there are reasons why you should not combine the two. Geez, these chickies are being loud. And I am on anxiety medication, so I didn't do any research, and here we are. I should have. Once harvested, it can be brewed as a tea to treat the symptoms of insomnia, depression, and anxiety. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll start it anyway. We'll see. I've got my hyssop, which is for tea. I've got my ground cherries. First time growing these. I'm so excited. And then all of my tomatoes, my tomatillos, and my Brussels sprouts. Yikes. So here's the problem. Here's the issue with that. I have one more tray left. This is my only tray I have left. And I'm not going to be able to fit all these in this tray. I am using one of my trays right now to bottom water my onions, which I started in, here I'll show you. So I have a few of the little 6-cell trays hanging out in here that I started other stuff in. And then I just cut a to-go container in half, and I used it to start my onions, which are actually doing really well. Look at how beautiful. So I might have to find another container to put these in. Ooh, oniony. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to find it because I want the tray, because the tray fits the 6-cell trays so well. Yeah, so because I'm not going to be able to fit all these in just this one, so I think that's what I'm going to have to do. And I've got a whole bunch of these kicking around, a whole bunch of them, so I think that's what we'll do. But we'll go ahead and work with what we've got right now, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, so setting that aside for now, let's get our seed starting mix created. So I'm just going to fill this up with my organic seed starting mix. I'm doing this indoors, just on my floor, and I always make a big mess, and I just clean it up, and it's not a big deal. I get so weird about messes. I don't like my hands to be dirty. I don't like there to be messes, but you kind of just have to accept it. Like, don't go into it with the mindset that it's going to stay perfectly clean, because chances are it's not, and then you're just going to stress yourself out. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy this. This is, like, yes, it's to put food on the table, but it's also my hobby, and I want to have fun. So try not to go into it with a mindset that, you know, everything's going to stay clean and everything's going to be perfect, because it might not be. I don't measure anything. I just kind of pour stuff in to my heart's content, and then I'm just going to put in a whole bunch of water. I always end up having to go back and put more water, so. And then I've got a wooden spoon that I have designated as my garden spoon, my soil spoon, and I just give it a nice mix. And you'll see it start to get nice and combined, and it'll get a little darker as the water gets worked in. And it's, once you have a nice moist seed starting mix, it's so much fun. It feels so good to work with. I love it. This is pretty good, but I'm going to add just a little bit more water because I really like my soil good and moist. You don't want it soppy wet. You really don't, but you want it nice and moist. Really, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. Okay. And so from here, I just get my tray with my little 6 cells in here. And mine are, let's see, I guess this one's not cut up too much. Okay, so because normally, all of my others have been cut up. This is my last remaining one that's intact. So normally I would just take one of the cells and fill it with dirt and stick it in. But in this case, I think I'm going to have to set it on the side of my dirt and just kind of scoop it in this way, which is going to take me a minute, but that's okay. This isn't going to stay intact much longer. I don't even know how it still is, because I can see where I cleaned it. I used it, so I don't know how it ended up staying intact through last season. These chicks are getting so big. At the end of this video, I will take a couple of them out and show you. I'll like hold them in my hand because they are so big. And actually, they're feathering out really fast, which I don't remember my first set of girls feathering out this fast. Ooh. So my Rhode Island Reds are not sexed, which means there could be, I'm expecting there to be roosters, and 2 of them are in there going at each other, puffing out their chests and flying at each other. Probably roosters, right? Is that a rooster thing? I've already decided that I'm going to learn how to harvest chickens by dispatching whatever roosters I have. I'm not thrilled about it. It'll be my first experience with that, but it's a must. I definitely want to raise my own meat birds for sure, 100%. And so it's going to have to happen, and I still am not in a place where I can have roosters. So I think that's what I'm going to do, especially if I have more than one. If I end up just having one rooster, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if I have more than one rooster, I'm definitely dispatching one or more of them. And so that's going to be quite the learning experience. I'll probably make a video about it. I don't know yet how graphic that video will be, but I'm glad that I've already made that decision because I was so nervous with my first batch of chicks last year about any of them being roosters because I was just going to be so upset. But now that I've decided that I am going to dispatch whatever roosters I have, I feel a lot less pressure. They can be whatever they want to be. It's fine. Okay, now here's a little tip for you. I have noticed in the past that if I go ahead and put seeds in these right now, I probably won't top water these, but I have in the past, and then the soil like sinks, and only half the little cell has soil in it. So I've learned that if you just gently, because you don't want to, knock all your soil out, if you just kind of knock it on the ground a little bit, like pick it up just like an inch above the ground and drop it, and do it repeatedly, the soil will settle in its cups, and you'll see which ones are actually not truly filled. So like, for example, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but like these front ones here settled and the soil is like hardly halfway full. And it just gives me the opportunity to put a couple more scoops on and just kind of even it all out and make sure that every cell has equal soil. Because you just want to give your starts as much room as possible, right? I mean, there's no reason not to. So I want to just go around and make sure everybody's filled up. And usually you'll find that you can get a lot more soil in there doing that. All right, and then just for good measure, I want to do it a couple more times just to really get the soil settled right in since we're about to start the seeds. Looks good. I don't need to add any more. And you are ready to start your seeds. Now, I'm not going to start all of them on camera because that would take a long time, but I'm going to do a couple and just kind of show you what you do. So, usually I like to do groupings. I'll do all the flowers together, all the tomatoes together, etc. I'll probably do the ground cherries, the tomatillos with the tomatoes, things like that. So let's start with the cosmos. And like I said, I like to group them together, so I'll have the cosmos next to each other. And now you want to read the back of the packet. I always open it up, make sure that I have seeds in there. I do, plenty. And then I look at the packet. And what you're looking for initially is seed depth. Now that's to say that you've already looked at the details, the time, you've decided on the day that you want to plant them, and you've decided to plant them. Now the seed depth is 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And to me, that always, I use my pinky, and I take my pinky and I just put a tiny little indent, because 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch is not surface sow, but it's just a step below surface sow. And this matters, okay? The seed depth matters because, like I said earlier, the seed only has so much energy. So if you plant them too deep, they're not going to make it to the surface. They're going to run out of energy before they get to the surface, and they need that light to continue to get energy and continue to grow. So then you take your seeds and you plop them into the little hole that you just made. You very lightly cover them with soil. Again, you want to be very gentle, and you just want to barely, just enough to cover up the hole that you made. For the same reasons, you don't want to press down or make it too compact. You don't want that little seed to have to do any more work than necessary. And it's planted. And now I'll show you one more thing. For labeling, I do it, back to things being janky, I do it real janky. You can use, I do have these, whoops, I do have these guys. These little labels. I like to use these for outdoors. I don't necessarily want to, especially in these tiny little trays, I just don't like it. I don't want them to get knocked out. I don't want to, I just don't want to use them for these little babies. And so I do the 6 cells, as every 6 cell tray will be the same thing. So I just did a 6 cell of my Candy Floss Red Cosmos. So I take painter's tape, try to get it started here, and I will write, I'm going to write CFR, Candy Floss Red Cosmo, like this. And then I've done it 2 different ways. I've put it on the outside of the tray, right here, which I probably will do this time. And I have also done it where I've taken the 6 cell tray out. Oh, there's more than one in here. No, there's not. Wait a second. Oh my gosh! There was another one hanging out in there. That's funny. I've also done it before where I will take it out and I'll put it on the side. Oh, I've done that before. Like this. This is an old one. I did strawberries in this last year. March 24th. That's fun. And then I will, that reminds me, I will also date it. I'll write the date on there too, just for ease, because if everything is dated, then I'll know, you know, I don't know, I just like to do it, you don't have to. And that's how I'll keep it organized. I would normally write the date on the actual 6-pack like I did here, and some of them I can see I did it that way because, like I said, I'll move things around a lot. As things become different heights and have different needs, I'll move things around and put them in different trays and put them with other similar things, etc. Sometimes I'll do a tray of all flowers, or I'll do a tray of all tomatoes and peppers, or whatever. And so I like being able to just pop this right out, but these have not been cut yet. So for now, I'm just gonna label the outside because I don't feel like doing that right now. But keep that in mind when you're starting yours, how you want to label, how you want to keep everything straight. So next I'm going to do the Apricota Cosmos. These are so pretty, I can't wait. Oh, they're going to be so pretty. Same thing, 1/8 to 1/4 inch seed depth. So I'm going to keep those right next to the Candy Floss Red Cosmos, and I'll start them right here. Alright you guys, we are all done. I'm going to be honest with you, seed starting is not necessarily a very quick process, at least for me it's not. It took me about an hour, and I don't have the best setup. I was sitting on the floor. I guess I probably could have done it at the dining room table, but meh. I wanted to be in here with my little baby chicks, and I've got this window open, and I got a nice breeze, and this was working for me today. But it took me about an hour, just because, I don't know, I just take my time. I like to really make sure that my seeds are being placed well, and I threw on a YouTube video or two, and I was just enjoying the quiet and enjoying having, you know, some dirt in my hands and having the seeds. It's really lovely for me. So just keep that in mind. It's not something, for me anyway, that I can do in 15 minutes. It takes me a little bit of time. I am definitely pushing the limits of my seed starting setup right now. I really need to buy additional lights. I need 4 more lights. And I'm waiting. I've been working a ton at the hospital, so this next paycheck is going to have a little more than usual. So I think I'm going to wait for that and get at least 2 more lights, which will be really helpful, and then maybe 2 more following paycheck. We'll see. But so for now, everybody's got light, but it's tight. It's really tight. I definitely cannot start any more seeds until I get more lights. So I'm actually just gonna take the camera and actually show you what everything's looking like. Okay, so here we've got a tray that we just started today, and I've got it under a light. It's not ideal because obviously this back row here is not going to get as much light, so it's not ideal, but it's okay. It'll do for now. And then I have a second tray behind it. And so, like I said, this shelving unit is not quite deep enough to comfortably hold 2 trays, but as you can also see, it's not terrible. I mean, it's working. You can see just on this side as well that these back ones are not going to get as much light as the middle ones, but that's okay. It's doable. It's okay. And besides, I can always rotate them, come in and flip this around so this side is over here, and you know, what have you. But it's working. And then I ran out. I don't have any more of these trays. I'm out of them, but I had 6 more seeds that I needed to start. So I've got 2 in a bread pan. I went and got a Tupperware container. I've got 4 in a Tupperware container. So, you know, you just kind of do what you have to do. And then I have my onions up here. They're not in a container anymore, which I don't love because I want to bottom water them. So we'll have to figure something out for that. Plus I've got a couple more regular 6-packs here that aren't going to be bottom watered the way they are right now. And then I've got my other tray that I've already started over here. So, you know, as you can see, it's not exactly ideal the way it's set up right now, but you know what? It's gonna get the job done. It's not terrible. Everybody's getting light, everyone's gonna get water, and it's gonna be okay. So this was a success. I think I am probably gonna pick up a couple more trays because I do want to be able to bottom water everybody, and here in the next week-ish, I'll pick up 2 more lights, which will make this a lot more comfortable. I'll be able to space everybody out a little bit, and there won't be so much competing for light. But overall, I really love my seed starting setup. Like I said in the beginning of this video, is it perfect? Is it super professional? No, but this is only my 2nd year. I'm still learning a ton. I'm by no means an expert, and this seed starting setup works really well for my needs and for the, I guess, quantity of seeds that I'm starting. Will my needs change eventually? Yeah. I may need to get a 2nd rack altogether. I may need to get many more lights. As we get more space and things change, but for now, this is working for me. So I'm gonna end this video by showing you a couple of the little chickie babies. And I named a couple of them. Now that I've got so many chickens, and I'm sure the numbers are just gonna go up over the years, I'm not gonna name everybody, but a couple that stand out to me, either personality-wise or how they look, I'm gonna give them names as they come to me. So this little one, I named her Mabel. She's an Americana chick. Oh, they're finding their wings. No, no. And she is so precious. She's got the fluffy little cheeks that some Americanas sometimes have. And she's getting her big girl feathers. Look at that. She's got a cute little tail. You're getting cute little tail feathers. So sweet, such a sweet girl. She usually lets me hold her pretty well. I try and hold them every day so that they're somewhat accustomed to me and comfortable around me. Whoops. This one I named Moon Pie because she is black with some white, but as she's starting to get her big girl feathers, I'm noticing, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the camera, but some of these feathers that she's getting on her back are brown. Like a light brown color, so maybe you're not gonna be black. I guess we'll see, huh? I guess we will see. Little Moon Pie. She is not as friendly as Mabel, doesn't let me hold her as much. She's an Americana baby too. She also has the fluffy cheeks. A little more skittish than your sister though, huh? And then I did not name this one, but I just wanted to show her to you because she's big time getting her feathers. And she's so pretty. Very pretty. She almost reminds me of like, I don't know, a quail or a sparrow. I don't know. Really, really pretty design on her feathers. Another Americana baby. Look at those tail feathers. You got really long tail feathers. Some of them are so much bigger than the others, and I think that that's really interesting. What's going on? You're very pretty. You're very pretty little chickie. Huh? You're very pretty. Thanks for letting me hold you. Don't try to fly away, please. Please don't. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And just so I don't show favoritism to the Americanas, even though I really love them, here's a Rhode Island Red baby. This is one of the ones that I think might be a rooster, only because every time I reach in to pull him out and do like a butt check or something, this one kind of puffs up its chest and, well, what are you doing? What are you doing in here? And just real curious, not afraid of me, doesn't run from me, and I don't know, just gives me rooster vibes. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but getting getting the adult feathers and just real cute. Ooh, you got loud sheep. So yeah. Little chickie update for you. I don't know. Just figured you'd like to see them. They're getting big. They're very loud, but I love having them. I'm so excited. I do need to start looking into getting a second coop. They're not ready to go out. It's going to be a couple more months, but I'd like to get that lined out. So we'll figure that out soon. And that's it. I hope that this was helpful, showing you my seed starting setup. Last year, I was real hesitant to do kind of like instructional YouTube videos when it came to gardening because it was my first year and I didn't really feel like I had any right, and I still don't really feel like I have any right. But here's the thing, here's kind of what I realized. With me being where I'm at in the journey, I could still be helpful to other people who are early in their journey. I'm not necessarily trying to say, hey, I'm an expert, do everything that I'm doing. Not necessarily. I'm just kind of showing that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? There's so many different ways you can go about this, and my way may be different from somebody else's way, but my way still works. Obviously, it's working for me, and it may be something that works for you. So I think there is still value, even though I am early in my journey. I only have 1 full year under my belt. This is my 2nd full season. But I still think it's worth coming to you and saying, hey, this is my setup, this is how I start seeds, and it's just, I don't know, I love watching this kind of thing, so maybe this could be wholesome entertainment for somebody else on YouTube. And yeah, so thanks so much for hanging out with me and for listening. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith and keep moving forward. Bye.